Up in the Angus hills again. Kind of cold and windy. Some new snow up in the high tops. A wee bit of frostiness on the lower slopes. The rivers are up. The burn was sort of a challenge to cross. And I'll have a check on the eagles up here, see if there's anything new happening. Not much going on. A couple of red grouse going around. Sort of wee flocks of meadow pipits gathering before the winter time. I've got a sore knee, so the knee's been playing up for a while. Oh, we've got a heron up there. So I'll just have a wee toddle up this glen and see what I can see. So we've got a young white-tailed eagle there, struggling in the wind. Ooh, he's had enough. The wind behind. Not many mountain hares for eagles to catch nowadays. So whether this one will survive the winter, who knows? It's a beautiful, massive bird. Ah, he's coming over. Oh, look at me now. Absolutely effortless wind over there. Kind of missing my golden eagles here. I usually see them in this location. There's been a male satellite tag on for many years here, at least 10 years. The story is that a female in a neighbouring glen had lost her mate somehow, and that the satellite tag male from this area had gone over into the neighbouring glen to mate with her. The pair were seen at a nest with 2 chicks, doing quite well. There's usually some young golden eagles here, and they use it as a sort of a natal area. It's not a territorial area. I saw a white-tailed eagle there, a young one, and there are rumours that they have bred in a neighbouring glen. So maybe next year we'll see some fresh activity from young golden eagles in this area. One of their eyries had been destroyed in Storm Babette in this area. And discussions to actually create a nest platform to replace the destroyed eyrie didn't come to much with the estate. So their argument was that if they did it naturally, that's fine, but any artificial platforms were not required. So that's that. Nest sites in this area are few and far between, not many suitable sites at all. So the idea of having a platform would have been quite good for the expansion of golden eagles in this area. See my wee kestrel down the glen there, but it's usually here. Weather's not too grand. So this is a structure that has had me puzzled for many a year. It's a sort of built up coffin almost, obviously stacked by a person. Could it be a shelter? But this is a very remote hilltop. It's not the sort of hilltop that most folk come to. It's not a Monroe, it's not a popular hill, and yet we'll have this coffin-like structure. I often thought it might be a shooting bar or a hideout. You know, I'm led to believe that all this was bare 15,000 years ago and under a massive ice sheet. The accumulation of peat since 15,000 years ago has led to certain depths of peat and continuous heather growth and sphagnum moss growth, which leads to deposits of peat. And up here it is nothing but heather moorland and peat. trees don't like growing up here. The very notion of having trees planted up here, most of them just won't grow. I've come across many sort of tiny saplings of spruce and birch, and they only reach a certain height. They just don't like the exposure up here. This plateau is scoured by wind. It's vicious at times here. See down in the valley there's some birch trees grown by the burn side. But that's about it. You get some birch trees and alders growing up and down the rivers, the wee burns and such like. In very sheltered areas you get birch everywhere. And birch is the first thing that repopulates this moorland if sheep, deer, rabbits and hare are removed completely. It's not practical. Rewilding of an area like this, it just would not work in my opinion. Definitely not. For what we have here and the advantages to the local economy of grouse moor management, deer stalking, it's about the only thing that it can be used for, unless you're going to cover the whole place in wind turbines, which we really don't want. This is an area of outstanding scenery and natural wilderness. It is a wilderness. And too many parts of Scotland are being reduced from that wilderness into an apocalyptic wind farm with no future. Now this is valuable, very valuable moorland. I have black grouse, merlin, peregrine falcon just over there that I watched in the last spring. We have golden eagles. We've just seen our young white-tailed eagle. Admittedly, mountain hare are having a problem at the moment. I don't know what the problem is, but this area used to be covered in mountain hare. You could hardly put a foot in the heather without a hare jumping up and running off. Same with the grouse in this area. They're having a hard time. The reasons for that, who knows? I really don't know. A neighbouring estate here, it's all fenced off, and no deer, and a limited amount of sheep grazing, and much lower numbers of tick, and consequently the grouse compared to this area are quite healthy and they still have a shoot. So we'll just have to wait for some snow to come over here. There's quite a problem in this area of heather beetle, and it destroys the heather and it should be burnt out. Some of the areas very inaccessible to get. I'm going to have a look for this white-tailed eagle, see if I can see it on the way down. Best to get home now on the bike and home for a nice hot bath because my knee's sore, my shoulder is absolutely in agony. So let's go. When I started hill walking, nearly 50 years ago, an area like this heather, would have supported hundreds of grouse. As I say, you wouldn't have been able to put your foot in the heather without a grouse being flushed, or a mountain hare. So there's definitely something going on that's wrong. So I can quite understand when people from the RSPB come up onto the Angus moorlands and the Scottish moorlands and declare it a barren landscape with no wildlife. I suppose if you have one day out and you come to a conclusion that there's no wildlife up here, that's hit and miss. I have to work very hard for what I see. And it is a lot of hard work, and you have to be out every other week to see a few things. But certainly, I do worry that things have changed. Red grouse have changed. Mountain hare has changed. Why? And surely that's down to Nature Scott to actually find out what are the root problems. I just flushed a red grouse and it came back above me there with its usual Quebec. So there's that rank heather I was going through, sort of old heather, to a burnt bit, and some fresh shoots, pioneering growth happening, well established now. So I reckon this has probably been burnt maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And certainly the grouse I flushed was on the short heather feeding, so I suppose fresh shoots near the ground is what a grouse prefers. So, and the more grouse, the more eagles there are going to be about. Oh, what's that? Well, I just crossed the burn and it looks like a fair-sized trout or a salmon. Probably eaten by a otter. I think by the shape of its jaw, it's a salmon. Albeit a small one. A little bit of skin there. Pair of golden plovers still on the moor, but it did cross my mind that they might be late departure dotterels coming off the high ground because of the bad weather and snow. Not quite sure about the calls.